The University of Michigan Gamelan, Kiai Talaga Madu, or Venerable Lake of Honey, was brought to Ann Arbor by Professor William Malm in the late 1960s. Since then, gamelan concerts have been a regular part of the university music scene, bringing Indonesian culture to Ann Arbor for 40 years. The gamelan was directed for many years by Professors Pete and Judith Becker, who trained a generation of American gamelan scholars and musicians, many of whom are now teaching across the nation. Occasionally, UofM has been lucky to have Javanese artists in residence for a semester or a year. These visitors, the very best teachers of traditional Javanese music and dance, have continually helped reinvigorate the program, teaching new music and enriching their students' experience with a depth of knowledge only gained by a lifetime of immersion in Javanese artistic traditions. Their artistic excellence has moved the program forward with each visit. Since 2001, the gamelan program has been particularly fortunate. 3 pairs of Javanese artists in residence have provided 5 years of continuous high-level teaching and learning. In 2001, Bambang Irawan and Nur Farida Ramalina visited from the royal courts of Central Java, bringing with them the highest levels of artistic performance from those centers of Javanese culture. Bambang and Lina laid a solid foundation in gamelan music and dance for the program, renewing interest among students both within the School of Music and in the university as a whole in the rich world of Javanese performing arts. Mateus Wasi Bantolo and Olivia Retno Widyastuti were able to build on this foundation during their time at Michigan from 2003 to 2005. Wasi and Olivia's open and engaging teaching style, along with Wasi's superb choreography and composition, attracted record numbers of students to their gamelan and dance classes, to the point that over 100 U of M students were involved in performing over Wasi and Olivia's 2 years at Michigan. The students taking these courses were a combination of Indonesians, Malaysians, and Americans from diverse backgrounds, and their participation in Javanese music and dance provided a bridge across many cultures on campus. During their second year at Michigan, Wasi and Olivia were joined by Pamardi Cipta Pradongo, recognized as one of the finest halus or refined style dancers of his generation, and a senior faculty member at Sekolah Tinggi Seni Indonesia, the premier conservatory for Indonesian performing arts in Solo. During his year at Michigan, Pamardi worked with Japanese Buto artist Jun Wakabayashi, combining modern idioms based on traditional Javanese dance with the otherworldly movement of the Buto avant-garde in an innovative artistic conversation across Asian cultures. The highlight of Wasi and Olivia's residency at Michigan was a stunning dance drama version of the Mahabharata, the classic Indian epic that also stands at the heart of Javanese artistic culture.
80 dancers and musicians presented a tale of treachery and family conflict to a standing room-only crowd of 3,500 people in Michigan's Hill Auditorium. All our artists in residence have been valued for their gifts as teachers. But in the aftermath of the tsunami that hit South and Southeast Asia on December 26, 2004, our guests also showed the value of their presence as artists in their own right, and the importance of the university being a host to world-class artists from around the globe. Just 1 month after the tsunami, while many people around the world were still searching for words to express their emotions about the destruction, professional dancers and musicians from Indonesia, India, Sri Lanka, and Japan, all in residence at the University of Michigan, came together to produce a stunning evening of artistic response to the tragedy from within their own cultural traditions. Asian Artists Respond was the only event of its kind in the United States. The headliner of the evening was another visiting Javanese dancer, Didik Nini Towak, who was in Ann Arbor for 2 weeks as the UofM King Chavez Park's visiting professor. One of Indonesia's foremost dancers, Didik is a specialist in cross-gendered performance, a television personality, and a genuine Indonesian superstar. He led the concert off with a superbly refined traditional court dance and finished it with his trademark dance comedy, which humorously celebrates different styles, shapes, and ages of women. In between, Wasi Bantolo led the UofM Gamelan in a piece designed to bring slamet, or calming peace, to the world. V.A. Gayatri, a dancer from New York and Tamil Nadu in India, in residence at the Center for World Performance Studies, performed Bharatanatyam dances. And UofM sitar instructor Dr. Rajan Sachdeva played ragas based on southern Indian fishermen songs with tabla player Sam Jayasingham. The emotional highlight of the evening came from Pamardi and Jun Wakabayashi, who, accompanied by Wasi Bantolo on various gamelan instruments, created a modern version of a Javanese ruatan, or ritual exorcism of evil spirits, on the stage. Pamardi, in batik and refined topeng, or Javanese dance mask, represented humanity, while Wakabayashi, completely covered in Buto's haunting chalk-white makeup, stood in for the forces of evil and chaos. As the two danced around and with each other, intertwined as joy and disaster are, Pamardi's mask, with its refined features and intensely stoic gaze, was passed from humanity and placed on the breast of chaos. In the immediate aftermath of the tsunami, when so many people could not find words to express their emotions, the arts conveyed, stunningly and beautifully, the anguish and hopes of the world. Sigit Aji Sabdo Priyono and Yulisa Mastadi arrived on campus in the fall of 2005 continuing what was now a 5-year-long presence of Javanese master artists at the University of Michigan. Sigit and Yulisa also taught Gamelan and Javanese dance.
Na 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 na, and then na 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 na. Cancer.
Sigit is primarily a dalang, or puppet master, and together, he and Yulisa brought an innovative form of Javanese shadow puppetry called Wayang Santosa to Ann Arbor, both to the university and to the Ann Arbor public schools. The term Wayang Santosa is a shortened form of Wayang yang pakai bahasa Indonesia, or shadow puppetry that uses the Indonesian language rather than Javanese. Wayang Santosa developed among students at STSE as a first step in a long-range goal of keeping wayang relevant in Indonesia, and particularly in connecting young people to the art form. By using Indonesian, the young dalangs are seeking to expand wayang beyond only Javanese speakers and reach a national audience. But the innovation of Wayang Santosa isn't just linguistic. In fact, it takes advantage of a whole host of technical and musical explosions while working with traditional wayang characters and stories. The most striking of these explosions is the size of the puppet screen itself. The screen at Michigan was 23 feet wide and 15 feet tall, and in the use of multiple puppeteers with up to 15 dalangs all working puppets on their feet. This allows for both larger and more complex shadow scenes on the screen. In addition, Wayang Santosa uses narrators and actors to perform puppet voices rather than having the puppeteers giving voice to their characters themselves.
Who are you?
Well, excuse me, your smallness. I'm Dam Darat, and it's my job.
Characters are at times also represented by dancers in front of the screen, and the gamelan accompaniment combines traditional wayang repertoire with new compositions which include Western instruments. The accessibility of the art form for Ann Arbor audiences is particularly expanded because the scripts have been written and performed in English.
Bhima, you have faced a bitter trial. I know it is not easy to forgive and forget, but you must not let your soul be filled with the thirst for revenge.
My children, my Kurawa, I feel like I have been visited by the angel of death. I have seen the Pandavas, and they are alive and well.
Sigit and Yulisa worked with two groups during their stay in Ann Arbor: University of Michigan students and staff in the gamelan, dance, and now puppetry classes, and public school students at Dickin Elementary School in Ann Arbor, whose 5th grade studied puppetry all year, and whose 3rd and 4th graders studied Javanese dance. They created and produced 2 completely distinct shows for these two groups, which made March and April 2006 a very busy time for the Javanese arts in Ann Arbor.
3, 4, 3, and then it's up. Okay? Again.
Throughout the ages, man's lust for power has endured.
The March UofM concert in Hill Auditorium, Dancing Shadows, Multimedia Mahabharata and Gamelan, presented the story of the carving of the kingdom of Hastina from the forest during the exile of the Pandavas, and also featured Bhima meeting and eventually falling in love with Arimbi. The story allowed for Sigit to translate some of the best elements of wayang to the screen. His script explored timeless themes of love and beauty, but also took on serious ecological and political issues for both Indonesia and the United States, of environmental degradation and exploitation, abuses of government power, and political hubris.
Whoever goes into the forest of Martani will never come out alive. Or if they do, they will be in pretty bad shape. In fact, just the other day, I heard about a lawyer who went in to hunt quail with his friend, the Prime Minister, and returned with a load of buckshot lodged in his heart.
The fighting scenes, expanded beyond anything ever dreamed of in traditional wayang, brought in both action and comedy, as Bima catches a football that flies out of the Kurawa army and runs it back for a touchdown as the Gamelan breaks into the victors.
Touchdown, Bima!
Hail to the victors, valiant, hail to the conquering heroes, hail, hail to Michigan, the leaders and
The most poignant element of the story, in which Bima is freed from a noxious fog by the sweet and loving, yet physically grotesque demon Arimbi, and then must wrestle with keeping a pledge to marry her if she freed him, was given life by moving this subplot from the puppets to dancers. Yulisa, who danced the role of Arimbi before she is transformed into a beautiful young woman by Bima's mother Kunti, created stunning choreography, particularly for the noxious fog ensnaring Bima, and then for a love duet between Bima, more often known in wayang for fighting and vanquishing, and the beautiful Arimbi, danced by LSNA senior Anne Kuzmanov, who, in her 4th year of studying Javanese dance at Michigan, has become a truly superb classical Javanese dancer. The production, the first of its kind outside Indonesia, was also the largest and most elaborate wayang Santosa to date, with 80 musicians, dancers, actors, and puppeteers, and a technical staff of 10. The 2,000 people in the house made this likely the largest audience for a Javanese culture show in the United States in 2006, and perhaps the first wayang Santosa with full corporate sponsorship, as Singapore Airlines stepped in as a major supporter of the concert. In all, and particularly in terms of exposing American audiences to the evolving world of Javanese wayang, and in terms of simply stunning artistry, the show was a great success. The April show at Dickin Elementary School, though much smaller in scale and much simpler technically, was no less charming, and capped a whole year of Indonesian-themed teaching and activities in this increasingly diverse school on Ann Arbor's southwest side. Rather than combining dance and puppetry, the show had 2 distinct parts. 4th grade girls performed a dance called Kupu Kupu, which followed the life cycle of the butterfly from caterpillar to flying insect, also tying in with elements of the elementary science curriculum. The boys performed a traditional jarangan, or hobby horse dance from Western Java, and their enthusiasm as they swept out onto the floor was infectious. When asked what he'd learned from the year, one young man said, "I learned that boys can dance, and that it's fun." This story that we're going to do for you tonight is called Hanuman Man Jaga Hutan, which means Hanuman guards the forest. And we sort of told the story to the 5th graders, and then they wrote the script in English, and they've learned how to manipulate the puppets, and some of them have learned how to do great voices, and some of them have learned how to be stage managers. And so we're going to put it all together for you tonight with Hanuman Man Jaga Hutan. The story, drawn loosely from the Ramayana, involves Rama tasking Hanuman with guarding the forest from various marauding giants and ogres intent on wreaking havoc and carrying out general destructive mayhem.
Hanuman! Hanuman!
Yes, my lord.
I am so upset, my trusted friend.
Why do you cry, my king?
I am shed tears for I see my beautiful forest being burned and torn apart right before my eyes, and my animals are perishing by the hunter's weapons.
Why did you call on me, sir?
Because you are a great hero known in this land. I need you to protect this forest and all of its animals.
With the help of various other monkeys, elephants, tigers, garudas, snakes, and a very Laurel and Hardy-like boar and bull, the animals are able to band together to bring the ogres under control and become stewards of the forest.
Yow! Hey, stop shoving me. Those horns are sharp.
Oops, sorry.
As he was running to get Tom and Tim's help, he was suddenly trapped between two demons, Pralgama and the fire demon. What?
This little piggy went to the market, and this little piggy went wee, all the way home to my stomach. 1, 2, 3, get him! Your fighting has destroyed our home. Our forest is in ruins. The animals have nowhere to go because of you. The time has come to either leave us to be to rebuild our home or join us to live in peace.
If we stop, what's in it for us? We're happy with destruction.
You think you have power now? If you stop the fighting, all the animals will look up to you and not fear you. You can become a leader in our new society.
I like the sound of that. How about King Sujono?
Don't press your luck.
Oh. President Sujono.
I don't think so.
Something better then. Principal Sujono.
We'll talk about it later.
The giant Maricha becomes the principal of a Midwestern elementary school, surely a jungle in its own right. The Dickin 5th graders really took this project on as their own, working hard to master the puppet manipulation and to write and perfect their own script. They also adapted quite smoothly to the gamelan accompaniment, which was introduced only the day before the show.
You turn around?
Again, Sigit and Ulisa scored another great success, according to students, parents, and teachers involved. Thanks to all these residencies, knowledge and appreciation of Javanese arts in Ann Arbor is greatly expanded. University of Michigan students have had years of instruction at the world-class level in gamelan and dance, and now in puppetry as well, all giving some students their very first peek into Indonesian culture. Elementary students now know who some of the major characters of the Ramayana are and have an abiding interest and respect for Javanese dance and wayang. Our guest artists have now returned to Java with some interesting ideas of how to create children's outreach programs for gamelan, wayang, and dance in Indonesia, having expanded their own views of what the arts can be. And in Ann Arbor, with your help, the University of Michigan Gamelan will continue to be a source of artistic excellence, learning, innovation, cross-cultural communication, and friendship for years to come. Mater nuwun, terima kasih. Thank you for your support.